Let me ask you this question. What do you think is the number one thing or the number one reason that people do not pursue their dreams? So, what is it that stands between people and their dreams? What do you think? Well, I know you may be thinking fear. Some would probably also say maybe money. Oh, I don't have the money to start my own business, or I don't have the money to travel like I dream. Well, while those are great answers, I do believe that there is one thing that hinders so many of us, and it keeps us from pursuing our dreams. It keeps us from growing and reaching and trying to do more, be more, and have more. And you want to know what that is? It's our comfort zone. Yep, it's the comfort zone. Someone once said that the danger of your comfort zone is that it doesn't hurt and it might even feel good. You see, for me, it was my comfort zone that kept me from my dreams all these years. It kept me from my true happiness and all the things that I desire and I deserve. You see, I was always, I wasn't in total pain, but yet I wasn't feeling like I knew I could. And that happened in my job. It happened in my relationships, in family. When I look at like my health and my physical well-being, nothing was totally bad, but yet nothing was totally great either, like I knew could be. And so for all these years, I was just living, being comfortable, not being in any pain, but yet not experiencing the happiness and, the greatness that I knew was out there and that I knew was possible. And so a few months ago, I buried my grandmother. God bless her soul. She was like 96 years old. And I was at the funeral. And you know what? I was like, how horrible would it be to be on my deathbed and think to myself, Dag, I wish I coulda, or I wish I would have done this, or just have, so many thoughts of regrets of so many things that I wanted to do. I mean, I am a dreamer. I am a dreamer. Ever since I was a little girl, I had all these big plans for my life. I mean, I had it in my head how I wanted, my family. I knew what I wanted as my career. I'm a dreamer, and I'm still a dreamer to this day. And when I was at my grandmother's funeral, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot continue to live this life not doing what I'm passionate about, not doing what makes me happy. I mean, I just could not imagine. It's like dying now. It's like death now. Working in a career that I don't want to be in. It's like death now, not really achieving and reaching my true potential and doing the things that I really want. So it was at that point, I was like, you know what? I've got to make a change. I have got to do something different. I cannot continue living like this. And I remember distinctly, I told my boyfriend, actually, no, he was my fiance then. I told him, we were sitting down at the repast, and I was like, honey, I said, I'm going to tell you this now. Let's see, my grandmother passed in February, and my husband and I were to get married in April, so 2 months later. And I was like, honey, I have got to tell you this, and I'm telling you this now before we get married, so that if you decide that you don't want to marry me based on, what I'm about to do, then you can, we can take care of that now. I didn't want him to marry me and then I quit my job and start pursuing my passions and my dreams, and then he'd be like, you didn't talk to me about this before. So I was like, honey, I've got to tell you this, and if you decide not to marry me, I understand, But at the same time, you need to know this and you need to know this before we get married. I do not plan to continue teaching. I'll teach one more year just to kind of help me move through this, transitional process. But I was just like, I can't do it any longer. And I want you to know, before we get married. And he really he didn't say no. And he wasn't like overly joyed. But it was that day, it was at my grandmother's funeral, that I decided that I was going to pursue my passions and my dreams. And so I believe that there are 3 keys, basically. So by the time you finish listening to this audio, you're going to learn 3 keys, 3 pivotal things that I did that helped me to start pursuing the life that I desire, that I deserve, and the life of my dreams. And so that first key is what I did on my grandmother's funeral day, the day that we buried her. And essentially the first key is to make up your mind. Simply make a decision. So oftentimes we sit on the fence, we don't know whether we want to jump or stay or go, or, we're just sitting on the fence. And it is that indecisiveness that causes confusion. It's that indecisiveness that keeps us from moving forward. If you're sitting on the fence, you can't be moving forward. So the first key is that you have to make up your mind. Are you going to start the business? Are you going to go back to school? Are you going to lose that weight that you've been saying that you are going to have wanted to lose for the last 10 years of your life? Are you going to start making healthy choices in terms of relationships? Are you going to pursue that career goal that you've always wanted to pursue? You've got to make a decision. You've got to make up your mind that, okay, no matter what, I'm going to do it. I am making up in my mind that I'm going to do this thing. Okay? So then the second thing, once you do make up your mind and say, okay, I am deciding to move forward with pursuing my passion for public speaking and personal development, which is what I did. Then the second thing you need to do is you need to work on your mind. You see, because if you can't see it in your mind, then it will not become manifest. You've got to first be able to picture it and believe it in your mind before things start to move and to materialize in the physical form. And so I got to working on my mind. Why? Because when you look around, you'll hear people, oh my gosh, you're going to leave that job. You're making $75,000 a year. You've got benefits. You're off on the summers. You don't have to work when it snows. I tell you, when you start listening to people and seeing what's going on, outside around you, then you start to doubt yourself and you start to be like, ooh, can I really do this? Should I really be doing it? You start to get scared. Am I doing the right thing? And so I constantly had to work on my mind. And I did that by way of meditating. I did that by way of affirmations. Affirmations are such a powerful tool that I wish people realized exactly how powerful they are. Oh my gosh, I've got so many stories about different things I've affirmed in my life and that they came to pass and they came to be. It's just affirmations are a powerful tool that does not get its rightful place and attention. I started to work on my mind. I started to visualize. I started to affirm my life, what I wanted. I started to see myself speaking in front of thousands of people. I started seeing people just happy and loving, attending my workshops. I started to see exactly what it is that I'm working towards now. And you have to, because there's so much negativity out there that, I mean, it is so easy to forget. It's so easy to forget. So, again, number one, I had to make a decision. Honey, you might not want to hear this, but I'm not going to be teaching after another year. I'm going to be pursuing my passions. Then, number two, I had to work on my mind. So, again, visualizing, meditating, affirming all those things, seeing myself doing the things that I want to do in this new journey of mine. And then, after I started to work on my mind, then guess what? At that point, it's no turning back, and you can't pay anyone any mind. So you're going to be hearing, "Why'd you do that? Are you sure you wanna? Are you sure you want to leave that job? You're comfortable. You got a nice house, and the kids are doing well. You've got money in the bank. You've got some property. Are you sure you want to do that?" And at that point, it's like, look, I don't want to hear what you have to say. If you want to continue living your life, kind of status quo, just kind of, doing what everyone else thinks you should be doing, then fine, that's for you, but that's not for me. So I had to basically turn off everything that was going to be a negative influence in my life. I had to turn it off. So, again, the three keys that I followed that kind of got me out of my comfort zone and moving on this journey to my new life, my new career is, again, the first key, make up your mind. The second key, work on your mind. And the third key, don't pay anyone no mind. So those are the things that helped me, and I believe that if you too want to move towards things in your life that you believe you can have, you want, you desire, but you're not quite sure, then those are the keys to get you started on that path towards living the life of your dreams, doing the things that you've always desired, but for some reason you were fearful, or you're just kind of living the status quo. Again, follow those three keys, let them get you on your way, and the sky is the limit. And then you just keep on keeping on.